morning, everybody. I am one day out from my Antarctica trip and just made it back to land, and I am in the Patagonia National Park in the very southernmost of Argentina. And I've got one day here, and sometimes I'm tempted just to go out and shoot whatever I can find, and other times there are certain birds and places where I have a limited amount of time that I just feel like I have to go look for and see. And one bird in particular here that really caught my eye and I've always been interested in seeing is the Magellanic Woodpecker. It's a big woodpecker in the genus Campephalus, same genus as extinct ivory-billed and imperial woodpecker. And this bird just looks really beautiful and fantastic. So I have decided to come out today and try to find some. So I've taken a little shortcut and done my homework and come to an area where they're known to occur, where people see them. Familiarized myself with their vocalizations. And now I'm just kind of entering the prime habitat. They like these mature beech forests that carpet the lower reaches of these big Andean peaks down here. Got a late dusting of snow last night. It's incredibly beautiful. So I'm just hiking through here now, looking and listening, primarily listening, to see if I can find this big, beautiful woodpecker and share it with you guys. So that's my mission for today, and let's see if we can find ourselves some Magellanic woodpeckers. Hiking along through this beech forest, it's really quite beautiful, unique to me, interesting looking forest. I did see some Magellanic woodpecker workings on a big dead tree, so should be in a good area here, hopefully. So you probably heard I picked up a cold on the ship, so excuse that. I'm mostly here just quietly moving through the forest and really just listening, either for woodpeckers feeding, foraging, the sounds of them foraging, or of course for their calls. They have a really distinctive nasal, pretty loud call. So if they do vocalize, chances are I'll hear it, I won't miss it. This forest itself is just super interesting to look at, really beautiful. A pair of Chimango caracaras just scared the crap out of me, calling over my head suddenly. Probably about 1.75 miles into the forest now on this trail. It all looks like great habitat from what I've read, and definitely a place where people see these birds. So instead of continuing on and on, I am going to go back through the same area, slowly listening again. It is kind of a midday time where things can be a little quiet, so it might just be that there's birds present and not making any sound right now. So I'm just gonna backtrack, keep listening, and enjoy this really beautiful forest. Well, I'm back to the beginning, just about, and haven't picked up anything. It's gotten quite dark and windy in the forest. There's definitely some rain kind of coming down the valleys from the mountains. So more excavations in that tree. This is the place to be, but I think the birds are just not actively foraging or close to the trail, or definitely not vocalizing. I think I would have heard them. Well, I decided I couldn't give up, and I have hiked all the way back in, almost to the end again of where I went before, and I faintly heard a little knock off in the forest, and I stopped and waited and listened. And I just heard a double knock. It's probably at least 150 yards into the forest. A double knock, if you're not familiar, you know, a lot of woodpeckers do drumming, a rapid series of sounds as there goes double knock. Campophyllus woodpeckers, I don't know if all of them do it, but most of them that I know of do a double knock, which is just two loud, rapid bangs on some kind of resonant tree or log. And that's kind of their long distance territorial communication signal. And there's definitely a Magellanic woodpecker. It's double knocked 3 times now, straight up here in the forest. So oftentimes they do that quite high, so I'm not sure where this bird will be, but I'm gonna work my way back into the forest here and see if I can put some eyes on it. I came out into this opening and he's there, and now he's foraging up here. He's moved from tree to tree a couple of times, and now he's pecking away at a tree quite high up above me here, so he's foraging very high. So not a good shooting situation at all, but man, what a spectacular looking woodpecker. I'm just going to hang out with him for a while and see what he does. See if he decides to forage down low somewhere, and I can have a few chances to get some nice shots. So, got this guy. It's beautiful. So if I get, man. So I'm going to go try to find the birds, and I'm going to work my way in a position where hopefully the brightest sky of this overcast sky is behind me. And see if I can find some birds down low and get some shots. Well, I've continued to follow these birds up the mountain in what I would consider leg breaker terrain here for sure. I've had both a male and a female foraging near the ground on down logs, but I haven't been able to get an angle on either of them, even though they don't seem at all bothered. But as I suspected, having an 800mm lens in this kind of situation is too much. But that's the lens I had with me in Antarctica, so that's the one I got. I'm going to start working my way back down the hill. There's a male right down here again. I can see he's down in some thick stuff near the ground. I don't know if I'll be able to get any real shots of these guys, but it's pretty remarkable how they can disappear into the woods for spells where they're quiet, they're not pecking, not vocalizing, and you think they're gone, and you wait, and all of a sudden they're right there again. They're very quiet in between bouts of foraging and vocalizing. So really cool to see them fly around too and see the white in their wings. And honestly, that female with that curly crest is really spectacular. She's kind of the one that I'm most interested in getting a hold of. So I'm going to work my way down, see if I can get a last good look or two at them before I head out, and not break my leg going down this hill. That's my other goal. So we'll see. Female's been on the ground foraging on a downed log for a long time. And the male is up above me, and he's periodically been double knocking. He just flew in right towards me and opened his wings and did the big swoop up to land. It was pretty spectacular to see. But I'm not trying to push up too close to them when they're down foraging. Instead, I'm putting myself in a position where I have a good light angle on a number of tree trunks, hoping that when she's done foraging, she does a short flight up to one of the trunks to stage before flying off again. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on. They're both on a snag above me right now and double knocking, but both of them perched kind of low for me for a moment as they flew up from foraging spots. But the light was very low, dark, slow shutter speed, high ISO, so not expecting too much out of those shots, but pretty amazing to see them both together in the frame for a moment. I've got to say, I think this is about as close as one could ever come to knowing what it would be like to see an ivory-billed woodpecker. So many things about these birds are reminiscent of how ivory-billed woodpeckers are described. You know, they're this long, more pointed wings with the white in the wing. The way they swoop up to land on a tree trunk. Their wing beats are very loud when they're moving. And then this crest that curls a little bit. And of course the double knocks and their size. And they both just flew off. Way more so reminiscent for me than like a pale-billed woodpecker. It's nice to imagine. Well, I'm going to have to call that good for the day. The weather's definitely closing in now. I just hiked my way back down. I actually was pretty far up the side of that mountain. Pretty amazing experience to see those birds, to see their behavior of those beautiful Magellanic woodpeckers. Thanks as always for coming along.